All right, we are live. The sleepiest, if you'll say hi to everybody, I'll get those links posted.
G'day, everybody. How are you? Hope you're having a good week and
So,
enjoying this awesome game.
how you doing, sir? How's your week been?
It's been pretty good. Yeah, quiet, not too dreadful. Yeah. And how's yourself going?
Oh, I don't know. It's all a blur, man. It's all a blur. Let's see this week. Yeah, nothing out of the ordinary. I think it's pretty much just been the same old, same old.
Right.
Which for me is a lot of stuff that on a daily basis, but it's the same stuff each day. Entering stuff on eBay, entering stuff on Etsy, photographing stuff to enter later,
Yep.
handling sales, packaging packages, bookkeeping, more bookkeeping, more bookkeeping.
Oh, gee, lovely.
All that kind of stuff. Love it. Wouldn't change,
Yep.
but not a lot of fun to chat about. I
Fair
could,
enough.
I
Fair
could,
enough.
I could delve into the eBay forums, So yeah, the forum where it says zip code. What I do there is I put my zip code,
Yes.
and then that's basically how the conversation would go. Not real exciting conversation.
That's fair enough. Well, you get a lot of that in
I
life.
I have been doing a lot of fishing on the other monitors while I'm doing that and watching movies.
Great.
How about you? Have you gotten any fishing done?
I got a little bit of fishing done. Yes. Yeah, I managed to catch a couple of fish, so that was good.
What's your best catch so far?
Oh, wow. I caught I think it was a rainbow kind of fish. I'm not sure what it was.
Okay.
Wasn't particularly wonderful, but yeah. I thought, okay, this is interesting. I might even get into this.
Well, after you've done a little bit of it, what do you think now?
I think it's much more interesting than it used to be. And yeah, I can see, really, I can see how it's addictive.
Well, it just occurred to me, boom, crossed my mind right then, just like a bolt of lightning.
Yep.
I was fishing today, and I got this link to post to one more place. Woo, there it goes. And all right, now I can give you more of my attention.
Yes.
Was it today? I've been up for a very long time.
Yep.
So my today might have been all kinds of people's yesterdays, even if you're on the same time zone as I am. But I believe it was today, and I decided, you know what? I wonder what the fishing is like at the fall.
Oh,
And of
right.
course,
Okay.
the fall's a PvP zone, and
It is.
I don't shy away from PvP. However, I'm currently, and that's not to say I don't have the ability to become a decent PvPer that can hold his own and be respected. But currently, I am not that. It just hasn't been the aspect of the game I've really focused on it. But hey, whatever. I still won't shy away from a PvPer. I'll take a level 1 character up against a level 200 character if that's what it takes. No problem.
Yeah.
I'll die with honor. But I didn't really think it through too well because it really doesn't bother me. It really doesn't bother me to the extent that I even really think about it. And so
Yeah.
I go to the fall, I get there, and I jump down because I want to go all the way to the bottom where the water is.
Yeah.
And on my way down, I accidentally hit one of the things, and that's all it. It's over at that point. So I died, go all the way down, res, you're back up. I'm running
Yep.
back down, jump down again, and the elevator's right there. And I'm like, well, I'll just ride the elevator. So I jump down on the elevator.
Sure.
It's going down, and as it's going down, meanwhile, I don't remember the name only because it's a really lengthy name and it started with a G. But they suddenly appear on the platform next to me, and I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. And I'm just ignoring them.
Yes.
Well, we're real close to the ground at that time. Okay, so I go to jump off, and they jump off, and we both jump off in the same direction. And as I'm jumping off, I accidentally, I like lose control of my keyboard, and in there I hit the Z key at some point to unsheath. Of course, I'm not really thinking about combat when I'm going to this PvP. So I didn't turn auto combat off at all. I mean, it wasn't in my mind that I might want that off because I'm going to go into combat. I was going there to fish. And so auto combat's on, and I just start hitting the guy. And so I'm trying to run away, and I start to run away.
Yep.
And he sheathes, I mean, he's definitely showing every sign of he doesn't, like, what are you doing? I mean, I'm not messing with you. And it's obvious at a glance that he's going to wipe me out like that, and that, it would be a joke even to tackle me. But then I mess up on the keyboard again. It's slipping, whatever. And I move back towards him again, and I start hitting him again.
Oh,
so I get away from him, and I just finally get away from him. I swim out of ways, and I'm out in this lake. And I think he had his weapons poisoned, or maybe it was one of his effects, but my health is dropping. I'm at half health at this point, and it's dropping. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll just click a regen or a health pot or whatever. Oh, great. None of that stuff's equipped to that bar right now because, look, I got sardines, and I got liches, and I got minnows, and I got red worms. So I die. I went ahead and sent him the ransom. I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
And he invited me to party, and I told him, I said, I really didn't mean to attack you. I had like a massive loss of keyboard use control. And he said, I figured, because I mean, the way I was acting was not the way of someone that wants to attack someone else. I mean, I'm going in, and you see, bap, bap, bap. No effects, no magical effects at all. Just bap, bap, bap. And I'm running in and out going bap, bap, bap. It's like you're kind of standing there going, what are you doing? Of course, it's triggering his attack back at me, and, I'm just getting wiped out.
Like a drunken Irishman.
So if that's not bad enough, then I'm standing there, and I start fishing at that point. We had a couple of chuckles about it. And I'm fishing at that point, and a couple of people I know actually drop in, and they're like, hey, don't worry, Style. You can fish in peace now. We're here. We'll protect you from anything. And I'm like, cool. I said, yeah, I accidentally attacked someone earlier. It was over quick. I don't know what happened. He said, yeah, that's a Twitch person. You were just on TV when you did that, bud. And I'm like, oh, great. I think it's the first time I've ever died from PvP in the game, actually. I think that's my which is upsetting because I don't mind dying, my first time I don't mind dying in a PvP match. But man, it should have been at least a real match where I'm like, okay, you know what, I'm equipped, and let's do this. And
you should have been trying.
Later, okay, fine, but at least I had made a valid effort. This was just comedy. This was like some little orc running up to some 9-foot giant with a twig and whacking away at him, going, "You're dead, you're dead." Yeah, I mean, it was sad.
And on top of that, you're famous.
I guess, and the fishing was lousy.
Oh no!
I didn't see. Now maybe there's a special fishing spot down there I didn't see, but I didn't. Quote any of your special fishing spots, and I was getting the impression that it was pulling freshwater instead of fetid. I mean, I was never pulling any leeches or catfish. It was just pretty much your trout, your bass. So I'm thinking, the bottom of the fall down there and the depth of that, hell, it should be fetid water.
Ooh, probably. It might be an underground stream. You never know.
And with it being a PvP zone, I think there should be at least one special fishing spot, because if you're going to go down there and stand around amongst and that was the thing. The story continues on. The two people I actually know really, really well, actually, that had dropped in, and I didn't even know they did the PvP thing, and they're like, "Well, we'll protect you now." The guy that I ran into earlier came over and took both of them out in like 2 seconds. And I'm like, boy, I just kept standing there fishing. And I'm like, yeah, I'm glad you guys are here protecting me. And what was that, 2 seconds, maybe 3? If being generous. And then someone else came along later, hit me a couple times, took me down to half health, and then ignored me. And so there was a couple, and then at one point I was in a party with I think 6 people, all a PvP party of about 6, and they were doing the PvP thing while I was sitting there fishing. But I didn't stay very long because I was just like, you know what, the fishing isn't very good. And 2 things. One was the whole reason I started this story. What you said had triggered it. But the other one is, if I'm going to go through everything I just described to fish, come on, give me one special spot. And maybe, like I said,
yes, right,
that maybe I didn't look around well enough because, it was stressful at times. But the other thing is
so you want a good reward for that amount of effort.
I mean, if you're going to fish in a PvP hot zone, especially one as popular as the fall.
Yep.
But the other thing is you said fishing's come a long way. You can see where it can go a long way. I was sitting there fishing thinking, man, how cool would it be cool if like one of my rare catches right now was I pulled up some big giant kraken.
Oh, now that would be nice, wouldn't it?
All of a sudden I'm like, oh, and the PvPers all of a sudden are working together to take out this rare monster pull that the fish are pulled. And maybe down here in the fall, you can PvP all you want except you leave the fishers alone. Yes. As long as the fishers don't PvP, because that's that, once you PvP'd, you're no longer safe. So, but as long as you're only ever a fisher, you leave the fisher alone because he might pull us a kraken. And then that would even be a reason for the PvPers to jump together because it's really, really tough creature, but it has some cool loot.
Yes. Now there you go. That's an idea for the devs.
And so you'd have like, a temporary neutral truce while they take it on. Your fishers would be able to go fish in this cool spot and be able to do a cool thing and provide a really neat thing for, the PvPers. Again, creating that continuity that the devs are trying to create, that every world plays a role that everyone needs. Yep. I think there's some possibility there. So that occurred to me while I was sitting there fishing. I'm just like, because I was like an immersive thing. I'm like, man, it would just be so creepy if this big giant squid came out right now.
Oh, terrific. Dear. Yeah, I went fishing last week, and it happened because I'd been to the Rise. I think I might have mentioned to you last week, I summed up my courage to go to the Rise. Mm-hmm. And so I went back there again and, knocking off a few people slowly. If they come one at a time, I can sort of handle it. And then I met up with a bunch of people who were going in a group from the House of Manga. Mm-hmm. And, nice mob. And they invited me to join them. So that's great. We were charging through the Rise like crazy and killing everything in sight, which was fantastic. And, of course, after a little while, you attenuate. And so they say, okay, that's done for now. Let's go and do some fishing. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So we went back to White Rock and everybody's fishing. Okay, I haven't done this since about release 10. So, yeah, let's have a go. Man, this is actually fun. It's got a lot better. So, I can see myself starting to do it a bit.
It's nice seeing something a little bit more variety.
Yes.
It's also nice knowing that, you got some really rare catches, and they're rare enough that even if you fish a lot all the time, it's probably going to take you a really, 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 really long time before you see them all.
Yes.
As far as you catching them all yourself. I mean, I've pretty much been, I pretty much fish with style on the one monitor, maybe 8, 10, 12 hours a day, every day. And wow. I've been doing that since this release obviously went out, and I caught 2, maybe 3 of the really, really rare fish.
Boy. Yeah.
So, you're not. And even the meat itself is so rare. You have, of course, if you fish and fed types of leeches, and I can't remember what all three of them are, but the rarest one is the blood leech. I
Okay.
spent three. I spent fishing in a special fishing. There's a swamp where there's two of them fairly close together within a couple of seconds of each other, with no aggressive creatures. And I'm not going to share that spot. And I can go there and I can go back and forth between those two spots and fish, all day. And I did that for a few days in a row, and I caught one blood leech.
Whoa.
And it supposedly gives a really big bonus to the possibility. It gives different bonuses for different types of water. The best being salt water, I believe it was. Or no, the best being fetid. But I think the biggest bonus opportunity it has is that it gives you a really big chance on catching sharks, which is a rare fish. So,
Fantastic.
you spend all this time catching this blood leech. I only caught one, so who knows how long it will be until I get another. And then you go drop it in the ocean, and poof, you didn't catch your shark because it doesn't give you a guarantee. It just increases your odds. And there went your blood leech. So how many of those are you going to go through hoping to catch a shark?
Wow. Isn't this a characteristic of the game as a whole?
Yeah, I do.
It gives everybody a chance to get on board, to play, to enjoy themselves, to get up to a decent sort of level, but all the really high level stuff, all the really, really exquisite rare stuff, you could be going forever.
Yeah.
And you will never reach the top of the mountain.
And the other aspect is there's everything in the game. Yes, there's a skill factor. But everything also has a little bit of a luck factor, so that it evens the playing field, so that you feel like you always have a chance. And talking about fishing is a great example. I'm a GM fisher.
Yep.
My bait, what do they call it? Bait retrieval. My bait retrieval is at, I want to say 96 right now.
Yep.
I'm working on trying to GM that. And there's a lot of people, I've read several things, I've seen them, that have caught fish I haven't caught, and I guarantee you they don't fish as much as I do either. So even though I'm this serious fisher, over here I got my guy fishing all day long, usually all in special spots too.
Yep.
And I've done that for days. There's other people out there that have gotten to pull things and see them before I have. So, it retains that ability, just because you got this guy over here that's really, really good at it and does it a lot, doesn't necessarily mean you don't have opportunities to outshine.
That's right. Exactly. And, well, as witness to that, we were talking about bows and stuff a while ago. I've been starting to make my own.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I got incredibly lucky because I pulled a plus 16, 3 enchants, 3 masterworks, no failures, and ended up with a durability of 100.
Wow.
And I thought, that is just awesome. I don't know if I can ever do that again.
I'm not going to get any luckier than that. But you had to be about wetting yourself when you were putting that last one on it.
Oh yeah.
I don't know which order you did, the master and then the enchant, or the enchant and then the master.
Yeah.
But whichever one was the one you did second, and you were on that third one, you had to be about wetting yourself, because the odds of that thing breaking at that point were pretty good.
You're just waiting for it to fall over, and it does so many times.
Yeah.
As you say, as you know, as any crafter will know, if you want to get something like that, you have to be prepared to deal with at least 20 or so.
Yeah, if I wanted 3 and 3, I would want to make a batch of about 50 to 80.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
If I want to go 3 and 2, I'd be happy with about 20.
Yep.
Maybe if my odds aren't going real well, I might need 25 or 30, but I should be able to get one, probably even 2 decent 3 and 2s out of a batch that size. But man, a 3 and 3, you could go through a batch of 50 and still might be hitting the wall.
I know. And seriously, you gave me that bowstring for the unicorn.
Is that the one you used?
No.
Oh.
No.
Oh, I was gonna say, okay, you have probably the greatest bow in the game at that point.
No, I only wish. No, I was using imbued elven bowstrings. At least I can get them.
That's
At
still
least I go down to the crags, foothills, and I can pick them up. That's fine. But
right.
yeah, at the moment I have one unicorn bowstring,
Yeah,
and you need.
they're pricey.
Oh, they're rare as hen's teeth,
Yeah, they're a
and
bit pricey.
yeah, and so you need two for a bow,
Right.
and then to get a exceptional bow, you'd have to make a whole bundle of them, and
Unless you
then
got
to
lucky.
unless you get lucky, and then to get it enchanted up and masterworked up nicely, your chances are pretty small.
That's one
So
of
I
those.
don't know if it'll ever happen.
That's one of those. That's what I consider an end game project. Like,
Yes.
that's one of those projects that's a year's goal. That's one of those things that you're like, okay, I got my primary goals met. I got my character GM'd in the crafting skills I wanted to GM them in or whatever. And rather than taking on something new or whatever, I want to work on my masterpiece, and I'm going to spend the next 2 years. Every time I can scrape together gold, every time I can scrape together materials, I'm going to give it another throw and another one and another one.
Yeah.
And eventually you get it. But yeah, you'll
Yes.
spend a
Well.
long time doing that.
Mm-hmm. Well, can I tell you about one thing I discovered this week?
Mm-hmm.
One of the guys that I was running with in the Rise, Fasol, his name is, nice guy, and I think he's a bit of a crafting master. He put up on their Discord channel something that he'd made. I think from memory, it was a wand.
Second name starting with S.
It only got one game name.
Okay, yeah, I know who you're talking
Okay.
about.
Yeah, right. Okay. And it was a +5 enchantment. And you get the message you have reached the limit of enchantments. So, your first is a 95%,
Right.
second is about 85, third is a 42, then you're down to 14.
Mm-hmm.
And by the fifth, you'd probably have about a 4 or 5% chance.
Right.
And he got one. And you get this little message on screen: you have reached the limit of enchantment. You can't enchant anything more than 5 times.
Wouldn't it be? I mean, that's the Holy Grail.
Yes.
The Holy Grail. Okay, so let's first of all let's use the bow for example, because it would vary a little bit from item to item.
Yeah.
But I think the Holy Grail of bows would probably be currently would be your unicorn bowstring.
Yep.
Is there a special wood that you can use for the bow?
I'm using grey pine.
Yeah. You just basically just the standard ones you craft yourself. There's nothing like the savage handle or anything like that.
That's a second tier or third tier material, or rock maple, grey pine or rock maple. They're pretty good. Yep.
Okay, so you use your best available materials. That includes the unicorn string, and then the Holy Grail would be that, and then with 5 enchants and 5 masterworks on an exceptional.
Yeah, you'd end up with a durability of about 20, but that's okay.
You would have to do the math on the durability, and you might want to use whichever materials for making the bow that give you some added durability.
Sure.
And I'm not sure that the bow has one. I know some items you can pick a material that adds more durability. If the bow has a material where one of the materials, maybe it's the rock. I think actually it might be the rock maple that gives you as your bonus added durability. Use that, exceptional it, and then maybe it would have enough. You'd have to do the math. Maybe it would have enough points. But if it did, at least where you're at, I would say 35 or above, you can live with that. And then you throw a couple of gems on that, and boom, you got the Holy Grail of bows right there. It doesn't get any better.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. That'll be a year or two down the track, I reckon.
Or 5.
Or 5. That's right. Yep. Okay.
But you were talking about that. The first, the second, the third, the fourth. I was actually doing some masterwork just a little bit ago, and I watch movies and do other things, and I kind of spaced out on this one. And the batch I'm doing, I'm just doing the twice, 2 masterworks, and then I'm
Yes.
take it down and
Yeah,
do
they're
2.
usually fairly safe. 2 and 2.
Yeah, I'm making some
It'll
vendors
probably work.
for starting player gear.
Yes.
And so I kind of just faded out, and then looked up, and as I'm clicking the button, I'm like, what percentage? And it pops with a success, and I click the thing, and I'm like, so I go over and I reviewed it. I had 4 successes and 1 failure.
Whoa.
But the problem is it's not an exceptional piece, so there's hardly any durability left on it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that sucks.
There's not enough left for me to put an enchantment on it. But I was still amused that I got 4 successes and only 1 failure.
That's tremendous.
That's not too bad. If
Not
that was
too bad at all.
exceptional piece, you could still have a pretty good piece of gear with that.
Yeah, you could. Absolutely, you could.
I mean, you'd have a little bit of durability lost from that 1 failure, but you could still throw a couple enchantments on that very safely, throw a gem on it, and you'd be pretty well situated.
Yeah. But I can see why, like fishing, that is very addictive. You just want to keep going. It's like sitting at a pokey machine. You just got to keep going, and you know your luck has to change soon.
Well, and eventually, it's gonna offer a lot more to the game for us. So hopefully, a treasure map system of some sort with treasure hunting or SOS bottles, whatever they all decide to go with and implement. That's newer and innovative. That's great, but more.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Ah, sweet. Okay, well, I suppose we better talk about some news, hadn't we?
Yeah, we should.
Oh, we should. All right. This is what our huge devoted audience tunes in for.
Yep.
Okay, update number 304. We got a live stream today. We got Moustache of the Avatar, and we got a fishing expedition. Very nice. Lovely.
Although
okay,
I got to tell you, talking about our listeners are here for the news versus tons and tons of chit chat. I still have this theory. It would be really awesome to find someone that's a video gamer, an online gamer. They play World of Warcraft, they play Lord of the Rings online, whatever, but that hasn't followed Shroud of Avatar, hasn't played Shroud of the Avatar, doesn't really know nothing about it.
Yep.
Is enough of a gamer they can understand concepts and relate to things on the show sometime, just to get that purely newbie but experienced newbie objective about some of the things we're talking about, because they might bust out with a comment, well, why is that like that we're just all like, good question, why, and that can sometimes that outside objective that's not part of it can really throw out something that unique like that.
Fair enough. Yeah. That'd be great. Yeah.
But I haven't had any luck finding someone that wants to take that seat.
Oh, well, we just keep on throwing it out there.
The call's out there. You don't have to be a Shroud of the Avatar player. If you are a Shroud of the Avatar player and your brother has nothing wants to do with it because they're tied up in Lortro, tell them, well, hey, come do this thing and explain it to them better than I just did, and then they'll come do it.
That's it.
And look, people convert them.
You put the links out there every week. People are always welcome to join in and have their say.
And I'm really, really bad about looking at the YouTube chat log. So you really need to come on, because you can probably I don't look at it. I just forget about it the entire show. Yeah,
fair enough. Okay.
I'll be honest.
All right. Okay, well, first item in the news, we got a fishing expedition and alpine POT fishing holes. That's going to make a lot of people happy. That's great. So, as they say, Fishing Phase 2 continues to deliver more expansions to the fishing system. Fourth quarter 2018 and Q1 in 2019, we'll see more fishing skills, lava fishing, more fishing recipes, and rotating POT bonuses. Meanwhile, in Release 60, we're introducing a new fishing expedition scene and adding a fishing hole to the Alpine player-owned town template. Now, I know Majoria especially wanted that. That is fantastic. I mean, if you got an Alpine town,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a snowy biome. It's beautiful. It looks absolutely lovely, and all your lakes are frozen over. So
Mm-hmm.
how can you fish?
Mm-hmm.
And they really wanted that, so
Yeah,
the
because
devs have delivered.
yeah, it makes a lot of sense because I mean, all your other towns have an option to fish somewhere, so it's almost like they're being punished by their town choice.
That's right. That's right. They are.
Just kind of
And
evens it up that they get the option to roll out their house and drop a line.
that's exactly right. And it's more realistic. I mean, let's face it, people who live in Alaska, northern Canada, and stuff like that, you want to go out and fish, you just cut a hole in the ice. And that's how you do it.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
I showed you some of my fishing gear. One of the shows a couple episodes back. Yeah, I've never actually went ice fishing, but I actually do have all the tackle and everything to do so.
Really?
Yeah,
Awesome.
it was gifted to me once.
Fantastic. Beautiful. Oh, you'd have to rug up pretty warm.
Yeah. I don't, and one of the reasons I probably have never tried it is, that's not my thing.
Yeah, right. Yes.
Okay, first of all, it's freezing outside.
You're not
So you
wrong.
already halfway lost me. But now
Yes.
the other half is now I also can't, and I got to do this guy. It just doesn't sound like a lot of fun to me. Now, I suppose if you have big bucks and you have one of those really nice fishing, cabin sort of things that you put up over your hole and all that.
Oh,
Are you familiar with those? Yeah, the little
seen
fishing
them on
huts.
TV. Yeah. Just cut a hole in the floor of the kitchen, and down you go.
Really high end, and it's like the Ritz. You're like,
Yes.
oh yeah, I'm gonna jump in the hot tub there while I drop my line out.
Oh, that'd be nice. All right. So, talking about the fishing expedition, it's a tropical island area. It is completely focused on fishing. And yeah, it looks pretty good. Lovely screenshots here.
My first thought when I saw this, when I was taking a pre-skim earlier.
Yeah.
Man, I wonder if they're going to have house lots there because I want to live there.
You might be killed in the rush.
Oh boy, and it would be a rush too.
Yes.
I would camp out there.
Yeah,
it would be.
Yeah.
I would be camping out, waiting for me to be able to go grab a house. It would be for Ultima Online players. It would be Tremel and Felucia Land Rush all over again. Were you there for that? Were you there for that Land Rush?
No, I wasn't. I didn't join Ultima Online till years and years and years later.
Okay, because they had the big Land Rush. You had Tremel and Felucia when they decided to mirror the worlds.
Yes.
Land space. Well, before they did that, and one of the reasons, not the only reason, but one of the reasons they did that, and a lot of people say that's the reason Ultima Online died, but a whole different conversation. But one of the reasons that was being done was to create more land space for more housing, because let's face it, at that point in time, on the one side, it was a very, very packed world, and housing was a premium with, a castle selling for $1,200. And I don't remember what the keeps sold for, which was I preferred them over the castle, which is why it was I'd owned. But I remember I'd pay $50 million for them. I think it was $50 million gold, and I think gold was $20 a million or something like that.
Wow,
so, large amounts of money. And
yeah.
I was a stupid kid back in those days, and I didn't ever do anything for real money transfer. If I had, I might have broken into the career, like 18 years old. But in the game, I wheeled and dealed all the time, and I always had gold, and I was always buying up property. And before they did the land spot, I actually had a nice setup, and it took me years to get it because I had to wait on people to move out. But I had a spot where I had bought up a bunch of little houses and then dropped the great big huge giant 4-story tower there and squeezed in a couple others around it, and then I owned that whole spot.
Nice.
But for those not familiar with the land rush that took place, so what happened when this is taking place? They're splitting this world patch coming up, much like we do with Shroud of the Avatars. Okay, Thursday at 10 a.m. Only they did it, if I remember right. I could be wrong, but I want to say they did it midnight. And it's like, okay, the patch is going to go into place. Now, when the patch goes into place, what's going to happen is all this is going to exist, and you can place houses. Have fun. And so,
Yep.
every player, and keep in mind, these houses are selling for hundreds and thousands of dollars. Now, we know the property value is going to drop, but by how much? And so everyone that can scrape together any kind of gold at all is going and buying houses left and right, all the house deeds they can and everything else. And here's what you have going on around midnight. Now, if I remember right, the other problem is even though it was right at midnight, you have all these people trying to log in the game at the same time, and the game just can't log everybody in. So the load time's real slow. You're coming in, it's laggy and choppy. You get kicked out, and you got to run around and, try to place this thing. Now, of course, if you're intelligent, you would found space ahead of time and everything.
Of course, yes.
And I remembered I had bought 2 deeds. I had one 4-story tower deed that was, the straight square 4-story, which was my favorite house, and then one of my second favorite house, which was the big L-shaped double story.
Yeah.
And I found a friend that I trusted, and I said, "Hey, here's the 2-story." I said, "I'm gonna," and I logged in game. I was placing that, and I said, I'm going to be trying to place this tower here. If you're able to place that 2-story as close by, but go wherever you have to go to ultimately place it if you can place it. And so what happens is that time comes around and you're trying to log in game, and man, you're having to type and hit enter and type and hit enter and type and hit enter and type and hit enter over and over and over and over again on your password. And you would fail because, it's not quite, because you're starting 10, 15, 20 seconds ahead of time, whatever and
yes.
So it would fail, kick you back to the start, and it'd just be over and over. And so you're like the typing champion of the world, hoping you're not missing a single miskey, making a single error or anything else. And then you get logged in. So anyway, I get logged in. And I double click the deed in my pack because I had logged out right where I wanted to be, and tried to place it. And then I saw this other house hover over the top of mine, like, transparently we're both kind of fighting. And then boom, I get kicked out, and I'm like, oh no. And I'm logging back in, and I say it took me minutes to get back in. And by the time I'm like, it's over. Well, apparently everyone had got kicked. It hadn't been just me, and I'm dropping it again, and I'm seeing this other house starting to hover, but I had gotten mine first. So I actually dropped it. And I got the location I wanted with this tower. Well, so I'm waiting to find out what happens with the other person, and they don't know the area that well, the land. I didn't have time to prepare them. This was like 15 minutes before the event. I had gotten them set up in a last-minute rush. It was a last-minute thought, hey, I have enough gold. If I do this and this, I can buy this deed. Let's do this. And so I meet back up with them, and they're like, I don't know where I placed. And I'm like, how can you not know where
boy.
And they're like, well, I logged in, exactly where I logged out at, where you wanted to place it. But then when we all got kicked back out, I came in and it looked like someone was beating me to it. So I had to run around, and I ran around for like a while, all of these different places. And I finally got it placed, but then I don't know where it was. So we go out searching for it, and we eventually found it. By accident, they placed it side by side with the 4-story tower I had placed. They had apparently gotten lost right in some kind of big circle and replaced it right next to it.
That's a great story.
I ended up selling that pair of properties to a person for $750, I think it was, when I quit the game.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But yeah, that's what we would have.
Yes.
If they open this up for a land rush, I guarantee you there's going to be all these people waiting for the patch.
Wow. Oh, boy.
Well, I'm logging in.
That'll be fun.
I got my village, and I'm going for
it. They need to make it PvP as well.
It's increase the stake.
Yeah. Survival of the fittest.
Man, I tell you what, I'll do whatever I have to do to try to get a house in that place.
Oh, yeah. Wouldn't that be great? Your own weekender on a fishing island. That'd be awesome.
Well, it just looks like such a tropical paradise.
It does. And lovely screenshot of the fishing hole in a alpine template. Oh, absolutely beautiful. Yep. Standing on the edge of the ice, casting your line. That's going to be lovely. Beautiful. Okay, that's a nice step forward. And it'll make
I'm
all the
curious if that were a
fishing efficient.
rescue to bringing in some sort of fish that you only catch from ice fishing also.
Yes. Yeah. Hey, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
I'm sure that will be quite a ways down the road because they got their hands full with what they just brought in and recipes and all that. But maybe
Yep.
After lava fishing in the future, that would be one they slip in, because I'm sure they'll just slip in additional fish once.
Yep, I reckon. Okay, right. There's the live stream today, which has been and gone. I actually caught a few minutes of it, surprisingly.
I won something.
Well done. What did you win?
Well, I wasn't watching it.
Okay.
It kind of went like this. I'm in game. I had done the what is it? What was the code phrase today?
Reel it in.
Reel it in. I had done the
Yes.
code phrase, reel it in.
Yes.
And then it wasn't long after that I got a message from someone saying congratulations.
Oh, nice.
And I said, woohoo, thanks. And I wasn't watching, so that's all I really know.
Great. Well, I'm
I need
sure
to check
you'll.
I need to check my rewards box.
You do. That's right.
I'm sure it wasn't anything huge, but hey, I'll take it.
You never know. You never know your luck. Okay.
See, this is where we should have people like messaging us, telling us the answer. Oh yeah, hey, Style, you won this. It was apparently Odd Job. Odd Job was the one that won it.
All right. Look, you never know what you can win. The best thing that's ever happened to us. This was before our son was married, and his girlfriend or fiance at the time was working in Brisbane. They were flying her over there week by week. And we thought, we'll go over for a weekend just to keep her company, sort of thing. Yeah, flew over, hired a car for the weekend, and handed the car back. There's a little competition thingy at the bottom, just fill in your name. Oh, yeah, sure, whatever. Who cares? So, I filled it in, handed the car back. Thanks very much. About a month later, they rang up and said, you know what? You've just won a trip to San Francisco.
Oh, nice.
Yes. Which included flights and 10 days worth of accommodation and a car to drive up all around the Redwood area.
Wow.
Yeah, it was lovely. Yeah. So you never know what you can win.
Definitely.
You just keep trying. It's fantastic. Okay.
I don't think I've been to San Francisco, and I live here as far as, this country.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, nice place. Yeah. Okay. All righty. But the live stream, which was on, they had the introductions and deep dives about fishing, Q&As, boss behaviours, deck building. I managed to check in for a little bit of that. As we know, the stretch goals are fish themed, and looking at the top, they're doing pretty well.
Yeah. 47,
8
out of 50,000.
Yeah, very good. So doing all right.
I'd rather see that say 90 out of 50,000, but okay.
Yep. So they're on the way to the big trophy fish stone statue set, which is very nice. And they take time to develop. So give them time to make these things. 12 hours of sales.
I haven't really been interested in the dungeon before, but I'm interested in the encounter room with the fishing spot.
Yeah, very nice. Yep, for 85K, your own encounter room in a dungeon with a fishing spot. Well, could be just like the fall.
I hope
Lots
not.
of nasty.
I hope it's at least a bit better.
Yeah, lots of nasty creatures attacking you, and if you're strong enough to fight them off, yeah, you can have a little fish for a while.
You get a cast or two before they come back again.
That's right.
Hopefully it stays cleared until you leave and come back in.
Well, that would be nice, yes. Mind you, some of these things, they spawn very quickly, don't they? They just come in waves. Okay, so 12 hours of sales, right, around the live stream. And there's lots of stuff at 50% off. So, and everything counts towards the stretch goals. So
I gotta
remember
tell you,
that.
I'm not too sure how I feel about that swordfish sword.
Okay.
It's just almost a little bit too cheesy.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, initially it sounds good, it reads good, but then when I start thinking about it, I'm like, that sounds a little bit cheesy, guys.
Yes.
But okay, all right, it's out there.
Yeah, had to go with the theme, I guess.
Yeah.
And they're giving out prizes, so there you go. Look, you might have got one of those. Nice. At the very least, a fishing sign or a wood duck. Okay. Lovely. And as usual, submit your questions. They'll try and answer as many as they can. No more than 3 questions, please. And any bugs go in the bug forum. If you want to know when something's coming, well, it's in the updates or the release plans. And don't write a whole paragraph because they won't have time to talk about it. Alrighty. Now, next item. The winter recurring items are returning. Yes, because it is approaching winter in that half of the world. Very nice.
Yeah,
and these,
I'm trying to barricade in.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying not to leave the house for the next 4 months.
Seriously?
Yeah, pretty much as close as possible.
Whoa.
I'll probably have to do a doctor appointment or 2 in there. Yeah, I know. See, that's what always messes it up. It's always those doctor's appointments. I know I got to do the dentist in January. I need to start my yearly physical in January. So I got a couple of things that are going to unfortunately pull me out. But for the most part, I just want to skip winter this year.
Right. Okay. How cold does it get over there? Where you are?
Oh, well, where I'm at, sometimes it will get down to, -10, -30 when you take into account windshield factors.
Oh, lovely.
Now that's obviously, that's talking, it'll get that cold, but yeah, hopefully not that often sort of thing. That's kind of your bottom,
Sure.
bottom line. Usually, down to, around zero degrees. That's Fahrenheit, of course, not.
Yes.
I tell you what, when I was last year, 2017, I spent most of the year vending in the winter. And it was rough. It was brutal.
Yep.
It was end of 2016, beginning of 2017, those couple of months in there. But you talk about like -10, feels like 20 with the windshield factor and all that. I had one event I'll never forget. I was doing in Michigan, north of us, which gets colder, the more you go north. And Michigan has lots and lots of big lakes.
Yep.
And they freeze over, they become solid ice.
Oh, great. So you get the wind coming off the ice?
The wind comes in and it hits those lakes, and of course that just makes the wind even colder because they're hitting ice. And so if it's a windy day out, the wind gets pretty serious. And I had a convention. It was a one day where I had to unload, set up, run the event, tear down, load back up, and leave all on the same day. And it was, I believe it was -10, -12 out, something along those lines. And we were, of course, it's a convention. So it's at an elevated area because, it's in a hotel, or it was, off of a hotel in a convention center, near the airports and near, the whole strip. So it's high up near the bridges and all that sorts of stuff where you're really getting all that wind effect. And it was horrible. It was one of the worst experiences of my life. I said, but I don't want to ever do this again.
Oh boy, I don't know how you survive. I think we would die with that sort of weather.
Well, I did it for that. I did it that 1 year, and that was the first and only year that I'm vending in the winter.
Yep, that's horrible. Okay, all right. But anyway, all of these winter items are coming back for the season, including the nightmare masks, the ice building blocks, sleds, sleighs, winter pattern glass lamps and chandeliers, white ravens, breathe emotes. Got lots of nice emotes, fireworks boxes, all sorts of things. And heaps of fireworks. So there you go. Anything you want, it will be in the add-on store until February the 1st. So get it before it goes again. Okay, next interesting item is automatic redemption of rewards. Probably a good idea, I think. I think it's going to make life a little bit more convenient. I'm sure you're familiar when you look in your bank, or nowadays when you look in your little rewards chest, which is up the right-hand corner of the screen. They've moved everything. Just when you get used to something, they move it. You can see what's there. And then you have this little button that says claim rewards. So the whole thing has to load all over again. Now, it's not going to happen. If you've got a reward, it's automatically there and you don't have to claim it. That'll just remove that extra step. It probably is going to make life a lot more convenient for people.
Definitely.
So that's good. I like that. All right. Next item is upgrading bundles with crowns, as they've been talking about for a little while. A lot of the bundles are going to be expiring before the end of the year. Viking and Kobold bundles expire on November the 30th, and the Elven, Obsidian, and Shogun bundles will expire on December 21. So they're adding the contents of their bundles to Crown vendors as single purchases, but they don't have any upgrade functionality. So people have asked, and they said, look, what can we do? Okay. You can upgrade your bundle using crowns. If you want to do that, firstly, you email them. You say, look, I want to upgrade the bundle. Can I do this? They say, okay, fine. Now tell them which bundle. Sorry, say again.
They tell you to type, go away. We can't help you.
No, and they want you to say, okay, I've got this bundle. I want it to upgrade to that bundle. Okay, so tell them exactly what you want to do. They will tell you how many crowns you need. And you can say, yeah, okay, that's fine. I think I can do that. And then you purchase a voucher, which will be available in the add-on store. And then these crowns suddenly disappear from your inventory and it's done. So that's how you go about it if you want to do it. Alrighty. And all the bundles are on sale in the bundle store. So they're a lot cheaper than they used to be. So that's fantastic. All right. Next item, there are sales on. As you know, there's 50% off on Fridays and 20% crown discounts. Holiday sales, very nice. The first sale on gold crowns of the Obsidians ever. Some of the packages are discounted as much as 20%. And I just bought some this morning, and it was a lot cheaper. Very nice. Okay, as we've mentioned, bundles are expiring. They've just amplified this a little bit, talking about it a bit more. The Elven, Obsidian, Shogun bundles expires December 21. Now, this includes, a lot of Elven and Ornate and Shogun things. Big list there.
Huge list. Just go visit people.
Yep, go look. Note,
just go to the store and pick some things out.
Yeah, good idea. But remember, it's a final expiration. So upgrades won't be allowed after these bundles expire. And not only that, the Viking and Kobold bundles, as we've said, expiring November 30. Same deal, same story. There is episode 2 access to these bundles. So they're worth getting, but they won't be around for long. Again, there's a huge list there. Go have a look in the add-on store and you will find what you need. Brilliant. All right. Another reminder about the physical goods shipping phase 2. If you haven't got your physical goods yet, like the lovely box with all the goodies in it, there could be a good reason. And they're trying to get it out to everybody. So all you have to do, they're just reminding everybody again and again. They've had problems with the verification system. So they've removed that bug system just to make sure you go to your account page under Edit Profile, you check the box that says ship my physical rewards to this address. Okay, there's little boxes there, right? Fill in your address, your real world address, mind you, not your in-game address. That won't work. And little box that says confirm the address. Make sure you put a tick into that. And down the bottom of the page, there's a little bar that says update your profile. Press that. It's all sweet. And then they know where your stuff's coming to, and they'll be able to do it. And if you're international like me, you have to purchase an international shipping token from the Game Services store. There you go. The deadline is November the 2nd, which is sort of today. So if you're listening live, and if you haven't done it, then log off immediately and do it. Okay.
Go now.
Yeah, right. Go now.
Don't wait another second. Do it immediately. Even if it is after the 2nd. You're hearing this on the 3rd. You're hearing this on the 4th. You know what? Maybe you'll get lucky. I think I had heard something about, they have a slight hang up in customs right now, for instance. So maybe even though they've stated the 2nd, that they'll let it go another day or two. So even if you're a little bit late, go do it.
Absolutely. Please. All right. Next item is the Shroud of the Avatar boxed editions. There's a holiday sale. If you didn't get to purchase a collector's boxed edition during the Kickstarter, you can get the retail one from Amazon. So there you go. And for a limited time, you can get a signed version of the retail edition directly from the website. If you apply on the website, that's where you get it. And these two versions are on sale for $40 off. So if you want the one from Amazon, it's $49. And if you want the signed one, it's $99. So good value there. What you get is your game box, which is signed by Lord British, a manual, a DVD in the case, a runic translation card, which is very valuable, the Ankh trinket, a cloth map, and a little booklet all about our epic origins. And of course, you get the digital download of the game, 30 bank slots, a gold crown. You can pick an obsidian potion. You get access to episode 2. You get the exclusive title of Visionary and an exclusive emote, which they're going to work out and create a bit later. Okay. Now, moving along, last week's live stream, well, it was supposed to be about deck building, but they had to postpone that. So they had an Ask Atos Anything live stream. Very nice. So he was kept busy answering questions. And lots of prizes were given out, made progress, towards the themes. It is available on YouTube now. There is a link to it there in the news release. If you missed it, if you're interested, it's always great to catch up on these, and they give you lots of information. So the link is there. So have a look at that. Again, as always, they're talking about the Shroud of the Avatar rewards program, which as many people as possible should get into because it's great for the game. For $9 a month, which is about 2 cups of coffee, you get 9 gold crowns of the obsidians. You automatically participate in the stretch goals of the live stream. Doesn't matter whether you're there or not, whether you bought anything. That's it. You're in. You get all these cool rewards. You get an exclusive title every 3 months. You can pick any die pack every 6 months, and 3 obsidian potions every month, which are fantastic. I don't go out the door without them.
I haven't been using them. I've just been saving them up.
Great. Oh, you must have a few of them.
I have quite a few of them.
Yeah.
Actually, that would be, if any of the devs ever watch this, which if I owned a company, I would say, look, yeah, you got to watch these guys. Sorry, someone has to keep an eye on them. He's already watching these guys. She's already watching them. They're already watching there. That leaves you got to watch them. So if anyone actually ever does watch us, another thing I would throw out there, make them stackable.
Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah, that'd be great.
At least in the bags, before you choose them, when they're still unchosen or whatever. It's the same item. Let us stack them until you're ready to use them.
Because they're not, are they?
No, and believe me, I got a container full of them that says so.
Yes. Because a lot of other.
And I'm like, every time I open that container, I'm like, there is no. Potions are stackable, but the bag for the choice isn't, and it's just like, oh, come on, guys, you got to change this on these.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because potions, reagents, all sorts of raw materials, they're stackable, and you can slide 50, 100, 600 of them over at once.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, I guess part of the thought is they're probably not figuring someone's just going to keep throwing their potions in a chest for 6 months.
Sure, but hey, people do strange things.
I'll bust them out one of these days. I'm actually curious if the gathering, the meticulous gathering, a collection to all skills and swift gathering. I'm sure the swift gathering wouldn't have any effect, but I'm wondering if the meticulous. Well, I guess it wouldn't, because fishing doesn't really have meticulous. So I was wondering. See, they don't have anything in there that would boost fishing.
No, they don't. That's right.
I'm gonna have to go kill some stuff with them.
Yep.
I've also been saving up on the potions of guidance, and I have quite a few of those.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I'm waiting for the right thing. I just hope I have the XP at the time. See, that's the trick with those, is you have to have that nice XP pool built.
You do. That's right.
That's one of the reasons it hasn't been painful to save those.
Yes. Because it looks wonderful on the face of it. Yes, you can fill your skills up so quickly. That's fantastic. Yes, but you have to have the XP to do it. And to do that, you have to get out and work.
So you definitely need some warning of, okay, they're going to be implementing this skill in 3 months that I'm really all about. That's important to me. I want to get a jump start. I want to dive in heavy on that, so that you have some time. You can just go grind, and then boom, it comes out. You can go, cool. Now I can use this stack of obsidian potions of guidance I've been saving.
Yes, that's right. Yes. I mean, I'm sort of doing that in a way, because along with archery, I'm using air magic. And it's lovely to be able to cast a lightning bolt or a chain lightning on people and stun them.
Sure, absolutely.
And that's great when they sort of stand still for about 6 or 7 seconds.
The longer anything will stand still so I can hit it, the better.
It's fantastic. And I've got an innate skill called rapid discharge. That, okay, at the moment, I've GM'd it.
Oh, nice.
And that improves the odds, whatever the basic odds are. You don't know all the mechanics in the game, but improves the odds by 81%.
Okay.
That's fine. That translates out to about a 60-something% chance of stun.
That's pretty nice.
If I push it to 120, that improves the odds to 97%. So might get up to 75 or so %, whatever.
That's, those are pretty good odds.
It's only going to take 13 million XP to do it.
Right.
So I'm going to work hard till I've got about 13, 15 million, down a potion of guidance, and get it happening. Yep. Okay. All right. A weekend flash sale about Movember. Every year, we form a Movember team called Moustache of the Avatar to raise funds for Movember. To date, we've raised over 3,300 through fundraising. We've also created dedicated items for the Movember Make a Difference store, including a moustache helm, shield, and cloak. Last year, even raised Darkstar and Lord British follicular reliquaries with Darkstar and Lord British versions of the Movember items. These items and other items have raised over 7,000 for Movember to date. Nice. Now stay tuned for release 60 when the 2018 winter items will start appearing, including the 2018 Snow Family and the Snowman masks. And there's a dear little snowman with a leafy moustache on him. Very nice. Okay, so to celebrate Movember, all facial hair themed items and even anything that's even loosely related are on sale this weekend. A portion of every purchase of these items will count towards Movember. You can also join or donate to our Movember Moustache of the Avatar team to help us raise funds, which is a great idea. It's raising funds towards men's health. So that's great. And again, a whole list of things that you can find in the add-on store. So very worthwhile supporting. Okay, now the upcoming events calendar. Well, the live stream, as we mentioned, release 60 is coming up on the 15th of November. That's pretty quick. Wow, short release this one. And followed by a dance party and live stream, release 61. Again, a short month because they're getting it out early for Christmas. 62 at the end of January, all the way through to August for release 69. And if you're interested in South by Southwest, that's happening on March the 8th to the 17th. And GDC is happening March 18th to the 22nd. So if you're planning to go to either of those, that's when it's happening. All right, now we come to community events. And this is an interesting one. I think a lot of work has gone into this. It's a forum post by Lily Bird. It says, come to Jade Valley near the Elysium Mines. It is a player-owned town. When you land on the bridge, check your map, find the Jade Valley graveyard marked, and go there. The quest is in the graveyard. You'll find the first two books on a pedestal at the entrance. There is a prize for finishing. It's a copy of the story, a candle, a chair, a rug, and a bowl of dragon stew. It's brought to you by the Jade Valley community. May your ancestors' wisdom not be forgot. And I thought this was actually quite fascinating, so I will follow it through. This is Chapter 1 of The Stone Dragons, Part 1 of 2. Zyrina and Phlebas turned back to stare at their two trailing companions as they finally meandered out the near side of the old wooden-covered bridge. And Zyrina called out, meet us at the old graveyard in the Jade Dragon's tool shed and workshop on the top floor, laggards. We will have drinks waiting. She then turned back and sprinted to catch up with Phlebas. His quick stride, still as familiar as his lanky frame, was faster than she normally travelled, and it was easy to fall behind in this peaceful valley. The desire to slow down, breathe deeply, and just be in the woods was strong. Not strong enough to slow the pace of a focused and determined Phlebas, though. He was single-minded about this rumour they had heard, and was determined to talk with the graveyard caretaker, before dark, and be at the River Runner Inn beside the river in Jade Valley, tucked into his bed with a lovely hot rum toddy to comfort him before the chill of the night was upon the land. The rumour was disturbing, to say the least. More and more fetid carcasses of various sized animals were said to be found in the valley, all of them bearing the scarring and the afterglow of dark magic. Zyrina had been teasing him that he was full of book learning, but not real learning. It annoyed him that she might be right, but he wasn't going to show any soft bits to his oldest friend. He knew she would not stop till he proved to her that he had indeed been studying with mages at the castle libraries, that it was useful knowledge, and he hadn't spent the entire 7 years drinking with his friends in central Brittany. Though she had taken to the twins right away, and conversation flowed as if they'd been speaking for years, she was still wary of the friends Phlebas had arrived with from the big city. The two oldest friends had been in contact by mail, but had not been in each other's company for the entire 7 years that Phlebas had been studying with the old mages. There were some awkward silences as they got familiar with each other's routines and movements while exploring Jade Valley, but their old familiarity was finding its well-worn path, and they were more and more comfortable as the afternoon wore on. Zyrina had taken the last 7 years to travel around the entirety of New Britannia, learning how to survive on her own and how to protect those she cared about. That concise, energetic woman full of grand ideas possessed an eagle eye. Her aim with the bow was not to be discounted, and Phlebas always felt a little safer when she walked with him through the woods. Like tonight, the woods seemed peaceful, and the river flowed lazily around the bend, and the air was sweet here, with a hint of chill, but there were lurkings that Phlebas could sense under the veneer of safety. Something moist and dark was hidden here in this valley, and it was harming animals and birds of all sizes. His arm hair stood fully at attention. Phlebas shook his head to clear his mind. His training had taught him to respect the knowledge of his body. His body could sense something his mind couldn't. First, they would talk with the caretaker at the Jade Dragon's tool shed and workshop property, and see what knowledge Ivan could add to what Phlebas suspected was happening to disturb the valley. The companions had passed wagons with body parts, and some with whole animals who were on their way to the village's burn pile with the remains, and they spied other people working on clearing up the various bodies to get ready for the wagons. It was obvious why Jade Valley wanted this mystery solved, and obvious why they thought it was something more than normal pranks that never include death or decay. Earlier, at the Hall of Inquiry and Learning near the Stone Bridge, the librarian had taught them to use the local map for this valley. Malhari has done a bang-up job of keeping the map up to date, and most public locations are marked. Just press M on the keyboard. Just when the group was getting directions to the Jade Dragon's Guild Hall, which faces the large stone dragon in the local market square, Rinaldi sauntered into the building and overheard their conversation. He introduced himself as one of the officers of the guild attending the meeting, and he willingly guided the four to the company of Malhari and other officers of the Jade Empire, Caetan, Elnoth, Froji, Joe, Magandahari, Merrick Dragon, 10, and Paston Bane up on the top floor of the guild hall. Each gave what knowledge they had acquired to the companions. Phlebas had been corresponding with the local governor, Malhari, by mail. He had been concerned about this new twist in his otherwise peaceful valley home. Mal was certain that there was more to it than the local youth out playing pranks on the farmers in the valley. He wanted answers. Each little bit Phlebas learned added to his theory that this indeed was not the pranks of children. The putrid odour of decaying, mutilated carcass was not something Phlebas wanted to breathe, ever again. His libraries had not prepared him for the olfactory feast of the countryside, let alone the brutality of burned, decaying flesh rotting in spoiled fields. Mel originally asked Phlebas' teacher for help, and Trida had thrust Phlebas back into the world outside the city and away from his scrolls. He was ready, but he was made awkward by the suddenness of his re-entry into the world outside the libraries and pubs he had become accustomed to frequenting. At least Trida had given Phlebas a pep talk before sending him into the world, and then waved goodbye to him. And because of those kindnesses and more, Phlebas wanted to solve this mystery for Malhari. He hurried his pace for the last bit toward the Stone Dragon graveyard because he wanted to be done with this interview and back to his lodgings before the late night was upon them. And, if you're intrigued by that, it is continued in Chapter 1, Part 2, which you will find at the graveyard in Jade Valley until the 25th of November. So there you go. Lovely screenshot and a bit of a movie.
Yep, they got a nice little video. Yeah.
Yep, a lot of work has gone into that. So I think that is a quest and an investigation well worth pursuing. And I'd love to hear how that comes out. So go for that. And that's in the Jade Valley. And see what you can find out. All right, another community event, the Novia Market R59 Grandmaster Bundles, which they've been promoting for a little while.
This one's been there for a while now.
Yep. They're every month offering 4 professional grade bundles, the Adventurers, the Crafters, the Dungeon, and the Yule Bundle. Very nice. They're raffled on November the 16th. Tickets are on sale, priced at 500 gold each per bundle. So get into that. It's really well worthwhile. And that is at the Novia Market. And you'll get yourself a lot of nice kit. Right, the community event, designing the S-Smart Heraldry contest. That was in last week as well. They would like to design some heraldry. They don't have much of an idea, so they're running a contest. There's a few screenshots here about sort of basic ideas that they would like to have. There's somebody sitting in a chair, which they'd sort of like a bit more lounging, comfortable position. They think no background is better. But basically, you got a person sitting in a chair by a fireplace, and the short story is, what can you do with it? If you want to throw in a bit of joke heraldry or something different, that's fine. Go for it. And the prize is, let me have a look at this, 50 kotos. Very good. Okay. So if you can help them out with designing their heraldry, get in touch with them, post your JPEG or PNG, and you might win yourself 50 kotos. That'd be nice. All right, project to support the dreams in Gary's basement. They mentioned this for the first time last week. Gary's a down on his luck shoe repairman, but when he pursues his passion for fantasy games, it takes him on a real-life adventure. Now, Gary Gygax was one of the great minds of the 20th century. His innovations have influenced generations of artists and spawned tens of billions of dollars in global revenue. Now, with Dungeons & Dragons, Gary crafted a vehicle for engaging the mind at a creative, analytical, and even emotional level, all at the same time. There's nothing else like it. Gary's work has woven itself into the fabric of our culture, yet there is no monument to recognize him, not even in his own hometown. We intend this project to be a filmic monument of sorts, a high-quality, emotionally engaging record of Gary's story. It can be appreciated by gamers and non-gamers alike for generations to come. So, looks like a tribute, documentary, if you will. And if you like that, if you want to support it, join the Kickstarter now. Wonderful. And another project to support by one of our favourite and most celebrated artists. This is Dragons and Dragonkin, the colouring book. This is Indy Martin's second colouring book. Going to be absolutely awesome. She created an adult colouring book. She's running her second Kickstarter. And she did her first one in October 2016. Loves doing line art and inks. and wanted to wait until she got real inspiration, something she could sink her teeth in. Well, so she wants to tackle another book. Again, had to wait until she felt drawn to a theme. Well, the theme is dragons and dragonkin, and it looks absolutely lovely. So I struck her as the perfect theme for the next colouring book, Dragons and Dragonkin. A beautiful photo there of how it hopes to turn out. And you can also join the Kickstarter for that. Okay, and finally we have resources, players helping players, the new player welcome forum, and the player created resources forum. They've got the best stuff. Anything you want to know, go there. You will have your questions answered. Also, there's a community resources pages in the forum. And also, there's just people wandering around the game. Most people are very happy to talk and help and give advice and just help out new players because it is that kind of community.
Yeah, there's a lot of people out there that take a lot of time to make sure people are situated.
Yep, it is fantastic. Okay, and I think that's about the end of the news.
Yeah, I don't really have anything for show and tell. Well, I did have something for show and tell tonight, but I forgot to bring it with me, so I'll do that next time. But I told enough cool stories that I think we're good.
I think we are good. Yeah, it's great chatting and just chewing the fat and passing the time and talking about the game and things more or less related to the game. So I hope a few people enjoy it as well. But I'll take us out at this stage. The wonderful background music for the podcast is by Stephen J. Goldman. The song is entitled Dark Planet. Also, thanks to Sir Style Teckle for the technical work on the newscast. Thanks to Amber Erkin for broadcasting the newscast on Avatars Radio. Don't forget, Avatars Radio needs your support to keep the magic of this podcast, events, and music going. Visit their page at avatarsradio.info and click on the Patreon link. This is Asclepius and
Style Teckle
signing off till next week with Echoes from the Caverns.
Echo, 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 echo. All right. Well, we're still live on the broadcast, but I don't have anything to add, so I'm going to go ahead and shut it down.
Fair enough.
Out. So
awesome. See ya. And as usual, I will put the audio file in Dropbox, send you the link. If you're able to shoot